Shalom, everyone. I hope that you are enjoying your Shabbat. If you are new, listen, I'm just spiritual and I'm free in my spirituality, and I love Jehovah Elohim, maker of heaven and earth. He is the one who inhabits eternity, and but I'm not religious or churchy or anything like that, but I do know who my Elohim is, and he is about truth and uprightness and righteousness and things like that. So anyway, I do keep covenant with my Elohim, and that is the covenant is to keep the commandments. And so anyway, today's a rest day for us to relax and to reflect and to do whatever, you know, Jehovah's leading you to do on the Shabbat. If you keep it, that's your business. If you don't, you don't, but I do, and that's who I am. So if you stay, you stay. Sometimes I get on my channel and I just chit chat about things that Jehovah is revealing to me, and I like to get your wheels turning, and so that you can be led, you know, by Jehovah in the path that he needs to counsel you in. And so, and I'm also a part of a soul group. And anyway, so here I am to get on here. This morning, I talked about on my first reading that I did, that I got up this morning and was meditating with Jehovah, and he brought me to some ancient writings, and I come across something that I read. Actually, I don't think give me just a second. Let me find this real quick. Well, I couldn't find it. I'll get back on if maybe I'm not supposed to reveal something about it yet or whatever. Everything in its timing, right? Anyway, so, but I do want to share a little bit about something that I did find in the ancient writings that I'm talking about is the book of Enoch. And so, I love all kinds of writings, and Enoch comes from, you know, righteousness, and he gave us a lot of beautiful information that Elohim showed him. The heavens and all kinds of information about the luminaries are found within this book and stuff like that. I was in the giants and things like that are also found here. I was just reading here about... Sorry that I've got to look down at this book with my glasses, so I'll try to look up here as much as possible. I was reading here, and let me just say, reading this book that they put together, the columns in the book are, the way they're ran together, it's kind of hard to keep track when you're reading. I'm not sure what the printing issue was with this book, but anyway, it is what it is, so just bear with me. I want to reveal some things about the Palladians that are actually found here. And actually, and I couldn't find that portion that I was trying to find, but it's talking about something about 10,000 years. When we've been there 10,000 years, there's a song about Amazing Grace. And it was actually, it led me back to what's describing the 7 stars, which would take you to the Palladians. Now, we know in the book of Revelation that Christ is holding in his hands those 7 stars as well. And the book of Job also talks about the Palladians and their sweet influences and how they bind and things like that, right? And I've actually got on the channel before and have spoken about the Palladians. And so this book is kind of touching on the 7 stars and it being like a burning mountain as well. We've been getting a lot in the last, I don't know, a couple of months or so about we'd see the mountain come out here. Now, if we pay attention to Jehovah, he will tell us where we're at in history, and we do know that we are at the time of the flood. I found something very interesting about these Palladians, that I believe that they are connected to the nymphs, and which were sirens. And let me get into this, but I want to go back up here, and he's talking to one of the angels that is showing him the firmament of heaven. And it states here, it goes on, talks about the throne was of sapphire, and I saw a flaming fire, and beyond these mountains is a region, the end of the great earth. There there the heavens were completed. Okay, and it says, and I saw a deep abyss with columns of heavenly fire, and among them I saw columns of fire fall, which were beyond measure alike towards the height and towards the depth. And beyond that abyss I saw a place which had no firmament of the heaven above, and no firmly founded earth beneath it, and there was no water upon it, and no birds. But it was a waste and a horrible place. And we've been getting the word waste lately. And I told how the other day I got up and I was reading about the flood. And when I had done a video prior to reading about it, I had heard in my spirit I heard void. And then I did another reading after I had heard that, in that initial reading, that I heard that word. And he brought the word void out. So we really are here within this stuff that's going on. And so this place that is describing is connected to a horrible place where there's waste here. And it says, and I saw there 7 stars. Okay, the 7 stars, like I just stated, that go back to the Pleiadians, where Christ is holding those 7 stars, which represented, we're told in the book of Revelation, those 7 stars represent the churches. But we're also told in Revelation to come out of the church because it became like a dragon because it was sitting upon it, right? Very profound stuff that Jehovah's bringing out here. But it goes on and says, I saw there 7 stars like a great burning mountains. And to me, when I inquired regarding them, the angel said, this place is the end of heaven and earth. This has become a prison for the stars and the host of heaven. Today, we had the star over the reading today. We also had the 5 of Cups that a person was setting there, and it said disappointment over the top of that. And they were gazing into the water, okay? And Jehovah brought out the word pitch and took us back to the boat as well, okay? Anyway, let's just go ahead. And it says, and the stars which roll over the fire are they which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord in the beginning of their rising, because they did not come forth as their appointed times. And he was wroth with them and bound them till the time when their guilt should be consumed, even for 10,000 years. So here it is right here. And I got thinking about that, and I thought, the church actually, which the 7 stars were the churches in Revelation. And I got thinking about Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. And one of the verses talked about just that. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright, shining as the sun. And there's connection here with all this stuff. And, we're told that we would wake up one day and know the mystery of some things. And I believe that this is where we're at right now. Now, he goes on, he's talking about the judgment here as well. And I believe that we're going to be in the judgment for quite some time. If you look at the flood, and we've only just begun with the rain, okay? And so, I wish I would have went and looked this up, but Noah was in the ark for quite some time. This is going on, talking about the judgment and judging things until it was all done. And so you're either judging, or you're on the side with the giants and all this other crap that's fallen, or you didn't come forth when you should have come forth, or you're not keeping the commandment of the Most High, then you're none of his. Because Jehovah has a commandment, and he said, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. And these stars did not keep the commandment, and they were bound. That's why the Pleiadians are connected to binding things, as we talked about. Like I said, I got on here one day and spoke about that before. But I'm going to go on here and kind of switch gears a little bit. And it states here that Uriel was telling him, it says, here shall stand the angels who have connected themselves with women. Okay? And their spirits, assuming many different forms, are defiling mankind, and shall lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as gods. Well, we can read about that in 1 Corinthians 10:20. But here shall they stand till the day of the great judgment. I believe we're here right now, is what I was just saying. Which they shall be judged until they are made an end. So this is showing us that there's time to this judgment. There's time until it's completed. So stay in the boat. Let us keep our boat pitched. Okay, you don't want to fall out of the boat, and I'm gonna show you something about this. Okay, so and these women led astray people, mankind, into sacrificing these demons that they got mixed up with the giant stuff here. So they're going to be judged until they are made an end, and the women also of the angels who went astray became sirens. And I, Enoch, saw of the vision and the ends of all things, and no man shall see as I have seen. Okay, and then I wanted to look up this word siren. I could not find it in the scripture itself, but I did find it in the etymology, and it went back to talking about these nymphs, or nymphs, however you say that. That went back to meaning a demigoddess. A demigoddess, okay? It went back to also make a reference to a bride. We're told in the New Testament about the bride of Christ and things like that as well. It went back to a mistress. It went back to young women, and we've also gotten a maiden that has come out recently on the channel. But these sirens went back to speaking about those who lure sailors. Now, sailors are found within the sea itself, okay? And they were said to be like a singing type of music to lure these sailors in for their destruction. They're deceitful women is what they were. They were binders is what they stated that it was at the etymology. An entangler of something. Somebody getting tangled up in something and now I don't know how to get out. These are these people that are now sitting there and now they're ticked off because they got lured in from these sirens that have sung to the stars that are fallen, that didn't keep the commandment. And so now they're tanglers and they go in and they do whatever and they get you bound up in some things. And that's why you men and women, I mean, obviously we're mankind, you cannot, you get to be a friend with these kind of people and you get bound up in stuff and you're screwed. You're just really screwed. And it's connecting itself to watery stuff. And the flood is also watery, but it's also fire. It's a fire flood this time around and stuff like that, right? These are deceitful women that are entangling people by their singing. Now, just because you sing don't mean that you are one of these people, okay? These are people who are trying to lure you. Look at the stars today. Look at how they portray themselves on stage. And they got the little butt going on and let me lure you, baby, and then you're trapped. And you're in a snare. This went back to also talking about cords and ropes. Okay? Well, interesting because the scripture also talks about cords of deceit being pulled by them. It was also making references to devices that make a warning sound. You know how the ambulance, woo, they're loud. These are loud type women who will lure you, and then when they got you, they trap you. They're just nothing but loud all the time. It's trickling kind of stuff, and that's not how we as women are supposed to be. We're supposed to be honorable, and if you love somebody, you sing to them. You're not trying to lure them. You take it or leave it. That's how I feel about you. You can tell these people who they are. People, you really can. It's just like yesterday we had that reading that came across and somebody was trying to appease somebody. They can't be appeased. These are mixtures within giant type energy that we find ourselves right here in the judgment, and they will be judged. You and I got to stand up and judge these until they be gone, because we've only just begun, people. We've just only begun. It's only started to trickle down, okay? And that picture this morning that came out with that 5 of Cups and that person just sitting there just gazing into the water. It was like a luring type of an energy. This is what Jehovah was bringing me to today, okay? Now, what was interesting about this siren word and being connected with these Demi goddesses that are trying to, which are let's look at hold on a minute, I'm getting sidetracked. The Palladians are called the sisters. These people more than likely will call you, hey sister, to other women, okay? That's huge, especially in my case, because I had somebody used to always call me sister. Now, the churches will also call you brothers and sisters, okay? Now, I'm not pointing fingers at all the churches. I believe there's good people in those churches. I just believe that we ain't been taught right. We haven't. And we got scripture also stating that we would say our forefathers lied to us because they did. They made an agreement with hell and everything else, and hell hath enlarged itself, and there's all kinds of stuff going on right now. It's like everything's just really just coming to a head right now because we really are in the judgment. This went back to steamboats. Well, it's given references to them trying to entice sailors, and so the boats are here, and if you're in the boat and you're getting weary in the boat because you ain't seen the land for a while, you better stand regardless and keep your boat pitched, okay? Because the judgment is here. What side of that judgment are you finding yourself on, people? What side of it are you on? Because the devil knows his time is short, and he's attached to the rain. Christ himself said he saw Satan fall like lightning. Okay, so it's all here. It's really huge here. I started to say something else and it just left me. Anyway, yeah, I can't think of what I was going to say. It left me. Anyway, I just wanted to share this to get your wheels going and understand that the church really has become something that it should have never become, but it is wrapped up with those Palladians. It really, really is, people. And Jehovah's the only king of the universe, okay? These Palladian, actually, my eyes are just falling on another portion. Let me just read this real quick. And I proceeded to where the things that were chaotic were, and I saw there something horrible, and I saw neither a heaven above nor a firmly founded earth, but a place chaotic and horrible. And there I saw 7 stars, which were the churches. Okay, 7 stars of the heaven bound together in it, like a great mountain and burning with fire. Then said I, what are the sin that are bound, and on what account have they been cast in hither? Then said Uriel, one of the holy angels, who was with me and was chief over them, and said, Enoch, why do you want to know, and why art thou eager for the truth? These are the number of the stars of heaven which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord and are bound there till 10,000 years. So it repeated itself here. And the time entailed by their sins are until they are consummated. I guess maybe I just read that twice, or did it say it twice? No, it did say it twice. But there's something to this. There really is something to all this. We are really in the judgment. So anyway, like I said, I just want to get on here and I wanted to share this. I ran across something that I shared on the channel the other day. I had shared one day, I got on the channel and had my head wrapped. and I had stated that I had heard the divine say, wrap your head, and I'd never done that before my entire existence. and I've always been somebody to obey the voice of the divine. And I come across something the other day that stated that in the day of battle, he wraps our head. And we are in a day of battle, because it's raining and it is pouring and there's fire all over the place, and you got people, their sirens are going off and people are trying to lure you in, and this is major stuff that Jehovah's showing where we're at right now. So I'm not saying that I always have my head wrapped, but today told me to wrap my head, and we are in the battle. And please let your ears be open and listen to your spirit, and just don't be lured into anything that makes you feel a certain way. That's why it's important that you pay attention to the music that you listen to, people's words that you listen to, that you and I weigh them. Okay, don't just take my word for it. You got to go do your own studies. You got to weigh your own conscience out. And truth is the truth is the truth, but the truth comes by keeping the commandment. Because if we transgress the commandment, you prove that you're really none of his, and then you get to go into all that other group that's going to be drowned in the end. Okay, so I hope all this made sense. I hope y'all are enjoying your day. I'll be back for a reading as Jehovah leads me to do so. Until next time, shalom.